Hi everyone, it's Tracy here at TierraCast. This is not one of our usual demos. You know, often our demos, I've chosen something from the inspiration section of our website, and I'm going to demo an actual piece of jewelry. I'm not going to do that today. I'm going to do I'm going to play with polymer clay. We have some wonderful new bezels that just came out in our Woodland collection. So what I wanted to do was come on and do, there's a little 1/2 inch bezel and there's a little 1 inch bezel. And what I wanted to do was come on and just play a little bit with some polymer clay. I've got some, I'm going to go ahead and switch my camera because there's good stuff to see on the work surface here. So, we were excited about, let me see if I can get the comments to come up. What's happening here? Where's my comments? That's how I know you guys are here. So if I don't see any comments, I'm like, I don't know if anyone's watching. But so we have our new Woodland collection. It's got some really fabulous parts that we're very excited about, including the 2 new bezels that I was just mentioning. There's a 1 inch poppy bezel that has this nice big opening that's really fabulous. It also fits, you know, we're very careful with the dimensions of these bezels, and this one fits a 25 millimeter gemstone cabochon, which I actually have. I have an example of that I can show you. And this one is a 1/2 inch bezel, and it will fit a 12 to 13 millimeter gemstone cabochon. But you know, the fun of it is, hold on. I had to grab more samples to show you guys. Hello, Michelle. Hello, Beth. Nice to see you. The fun of bezels is that they are little canvases, and we're excited about this big one. This is the biggest one we've ever done, and we're just excited about the possibilities of what you can do with a canvas like that. So, for example, I mentioned that you can fit a 25 millimeter gemstone cabochon. This is a gorgeous little piece of amethyst that we used in one of our designs for the product launch. Kirsten did embroidery, she was from the get-go when she knew she was going to be making some bezels. If you watch us, you know that you know that Kirsten is our product development manager. So she's the one that's designing all the parts, and she knew she wanted to do some embroidery. So, you know, we're excited how that came out. And then, of course, you can do pictures. You know, people put pictures in bezels and all kinds of fun things. We also were excited about playing with some polymer clay. And we have a local artist near us. Her name is Tanya Duarte. And I wrote down, you guys, I made a big list of really wonderful kind of polymer clay artists and resources that I'm going to be sharing with you at some point. I'll either throw them in the comments or I'll put them in the video description later. And Tanya is one of those. So she's local to us, and she makes just amazing little polymer clay creations and resin creations. So with our woodland theme, we knew that we wanted some kind of woodsy kind of designs, and that is right up her alley. So we sent her some bezels, and she made some just really delightful polymer clay designs for us. So she kind of sets the bar high. So what I'm going to demo for you guys is not nearly that fancy, because I am not a polymer clay expert. I have enjoyed playing with it off and on over the years, which I think anyone who has had any, you know, has any kind of crafty background, certainly everybody's played with polymer clay, right? It's what you played with when you were kids in school. And there's just a lot of potential now, and there's a lot of tools. And again, I have a big list of stuff I want to share with you guys. You know, in addition to, I'm going to share Tanya's Instagram account with you. And there's just a lot of other artists we know that do really beautiful polymer clay work. So, and there's no shortage of wonderful demos and stuff on YouTube out there too. So I don't know if you guys were paying any attention to our feed this week, but we are in the middle of a collaboration with Sculpey. Sculpey is a maker of polymer clay and tools and resources. And we're doing a collaboration with them where we're doing a little giveaway. If you look at our Instagram or our Facebook feeds, you will see that there's a couple of posts, and you enter in the giveaway by just liking Tierra Cast social media feeds. You like Sculpey's, and you subscribe to their newsletter, and you tag a friend. And those are the things that enter you in a giveaway for some prize packs. There's prize packs from both our company, Tierra Cast, and there's prize packs from Sculpey. So look for those and enter. So I'm using what I wanted to do first. I'm going to try and squeeze in a few different things, but what I want to do first is just demo some liquid Sculpey. I put some of that in one of the bigger bezels earlier this week and didn't do anything fancy. I just swirled some colors together. So that's where I'm going to start. I just want to play with a little bit of the liquid Sculpey, which if you haven't played with liquid Sculpey before, it's pretty fun. It's obviously a liquid form. You cure it the same way. You stick it in a toaster oven. If you do any polymer clay work, you probably have a dedicated toaster oven for that work. That is what's recommended to, do craft work in a little oven that's just for that. You don't also use it in your kitchen for cooking. You just use it for your craft stuff. So I've got one plugged in over in the corner of the room. I wasn't able to, since it's a little toaster oven, I wanted to plug it in directly to the wall. I did not want to plug it into an extension cord. So it's way over in the corner next to an outlet. And this stuff is so easy to work with. You just squeeze it into your bezel. Sculpey has all kinds of molds and stuff that you can use with this. So you can really make some fun shapes to use in jewelry making. And you're supposed to stir this or shake it. I didn't really want to shake it. It's quite thick already, and shaking seemed like it would take a long time. So I'm just stirring. It's a little bit thick. It's a little goopy. I put a disclaimer in the description of this video. I am not a polymer clay expert. I am just someone who's played with it off and on over the years. So, but like I said, there's so many resources out there. You can really find some wonderful, you can find all the techniques you need to know. You can find all the how-tos. You can find, all the expertise that you're not getting here. What you're getting here is someone who's just going to play with it a little bit. And I liked the idea. I don't have very many colors of this liquid polymer clay, so I'm having to stick with our the blue and the turquoise blue and the white, and I'm going to mix in a little bit of black. And anytime if you have any kind of color theory background or painting experience, you know that with white you should go very sparing. And I might have put too much white in here right off the bat, but that's okay. We'll swirl some more turquoise in there. And if you are new to polymer clay, you will also, if you've had some color theory background, that really is helpful when you're playing with polymer clay, because you can buy kits that are kind of the basic colors, and then the color theory will help you, make the colors you want. My light seems very dim, and I know I've got all my little lights on, but maybe I'm just blocking too much light with my hand. So anyway, I was saying, you know, you buy a set of polymer clay, a basic set, and you're going to get a whole bunch of basic colors. And then if you have any color theory background, you can make whatever color you want. So I'm not getting much of my swirl effect because I started with so much white. So that was but like I said, I'm playing here. We will see. And I also want to swirl in a tiny bit of black. And black too, you really have to go. I'm discovering that I'm wearing a charm bracelet, and that is not a good idea when I'm playing with liquid polymer clay, because I can just, it didn't happen, but I saw it in my mind's eye. It just dragging through the liquid polymer clay. So this is looking better. So obviously this is, like I said, a palette, a canvas. You can kind of do whatever you want in here. This one's coming out quite different from the original one, so I'm looking forward to seeing it when it's baked. So if you haven't played with polymer clay, actually, I'm going to put this right on the toothpick. If you haven't played with polymer clay, I mentioned the toaster oven. Different types of polymer clay will have different baking temps and times. Typically, it's about 265, and the kind of common wisdom is 15 minutes for every 1/4 inch of thickness. So something like this is not a 1/4 inch, but I'm still going to leave it in there for about 15 minutes because you do want it to, you know, you want to make sure it's thoroughly cured. This is very different. And the more I stir it, the more it's just going to get kind of blended. So I need to stop stirring it. Maybe one more little squeeze of white. There we go. Tiny swirl. And I do want to let this kind of sit for a few minutes before I put it in the oven too. I want it to see if it'll kind of level, because it's kind of, I've been stirring it, so it's, the surface is kind of bumpy. So I'm going to let it sit for a little while before I put it in the toaster oven. It's looking interesting enough for me. I'm okay with that. I've got a whole little pile of tissues and toothpicks that I'm using for blending. And when I'm done with this one, I'm just going to toss the whole little mess in the garbage, because we'll be moving on to some regular, more traditional clay, the thick stuff, not the liquid stuff. So let me stop for a second and say hello, and maybe throw a couple of links in the comments for you guys. First of all, I want to throw in a link to this collection, brand new, that we're so excited about. And whoops, not that one. And so that's coming to you. And I also want to throw in a link to, for just, if you do a search on our website, you can just find bezels by themselves. I want to say hello to Debbie and Kimberly. Hi, Kimberly. And Robin and Emily from Mobile, Alabama. Hi, Lynn. Nice to see all you guys. All right, so this one, we decided we wanted to let it sit for a minute, but I don't know how long it'll take for it to really level, but it looks okay to me. I'm going to go ahead and step away and put it in my toaster oven. And I actually have a timer here on my laptop, so I'll set the timer and we can check it in 15 minutes or so. I don't know about you guys, but timers are crucial for me when I'm working on craft stuff that, I have to watch my time. If I don't use a timer, it's doomed. It's absolutely doomed. So timers, cooking too, any kind of creative stuff, cooking. If I don't use a timer, it's going to be a disaster. All right, so let's see. Something else that now this isn't the first time I've played with polymer clay. Obviously, we have other bezels that we've had around in our product line for a long time. Some of them are Rivoli style that fit a crystal. Some of them are flat that fit pictures. But something I did years ago was kind of blended a few colors together. I was wanting to do kind of a gemstone kind of thing. So if you've worked with polymer clay before, you know that I'm actually going to swing my this camera over so you guys can see something over here. It is, whoops, can't see it through the light fixture. So there's what you call they're like pasta makers. They're rollers, and people use them for conditioning the clay. So when you buy the clay, it's a little brick of clay, and you can roll it through the conditioner. They call them pasta machines, but they sell them in the craft stores for polymer clay. And you roll the clay through there, and it softens it and it flattens it, and it's great for blending colors together. So when I did, now you don't have to have one of those machines. You can also just use, I've got a marble slab here, and I've got a little wooden dowel broomstick thickness that's going to be my roller. You can also buy, I'm going to move all this stuff out of the way. You can also buy in the clay supply areas of your craft store, you can buy clear acrylic rollers that are made just for this purpose. Because the alternative to those pasta machine type of things is to just have a surface. I've got a marble tile that I brought from home. It's just a trivet on the table. I cleaned it nice and good because it had, old food on it, but I brought that in to work as my little work surface. So you don't have to go out and buy a bunch of different supplies. You can use what you have on hand. So what I wanted to point out was years ago when I was going for this gemstone thing, what I did was I rolled a bunch of colors and I layered them together. So there's kind of a sparkly black in here, and there's some white, and there's a bronze. And let's see. Do I have any of them in the packages? So there's different brands. I'm mostly sticking with Sculpey today because we're working with Sculpey on our little collaboration. But there's Fimo. There's this Pardo brand. I'm not very familiar with it, but I must have used it because I think that's what I used in this little layered piece here. And I used some white and this nice bronze color. And I just rolled out layers, and then I stacked them. And it's been stored away for a long time. But what I want to do now, if I want to use this little leftover chunk, I'm just going to soften it a little bit, and I'm maybe going to roll it. It's been a while since it's been used, so it's a little bit stiff and dry. I pulled some off and made a little example the other day. But one of the finds when I was like poking around online yesterday and looking for polymer clay experts, I found a particular teacher. I'll go ahead and put her information in here because we're gonna play with this idea a little more after I get through this one. It's Jasama Tutorials. Oops. Hold on. I got part of the link, but not all of it for you, so that's not good. She's an artist in Australia. She has a YouTube channel, and she seems to specialize. I only watched one of her videos from beginning to end. She seems to specialize in gemstone, kind of an artificial gemstone polymer clay work. So there's really some beautiful stuff on her that I saw. And so I'm throwing her link in there in case you guys are interested in using polymer clay to make kind of faux stone cabochons. So I had that piece that was just the layered colors, and I'm rolling it and I'm just twisting it a little bit. And that's going to kind of marble those colors together. And then when I want to pull a piece of that off, and I can choose, some of it, the black's a little more concentrated, some of it is a little more white concentrated. I can kind of choose which part I'm going to pull off and use. And then I'm just going to roll that into a ball. I really enjoyed watching her tutorial. She was making some faux, it's going to need a little more mass, I think. She was making some faux turquoise, and her process was fascinating. So you guys might be interested to go find her channel and check out her tutorials. I'm just trying to gauge how much of this I need to fit and make a nice little dome in that 1/2 inch. I don't want it to be too round. I might have ended up with too much. And again, I can kind of decide what side of the little chunk of clay that I want sitting on the top. And then I'm just going to press it down into the bezel. And I want to make sure that I get it to fit all the way to the edges, because I have found, I don't think it's my imagination, that when the clay is curing in the toaster oven, it might shrink a tiny bit. Let's see. Elise is saying, what is her name again? Gisama Tutorials. I actually don't know what her name is, but that was her channel name. And Emily's right, that link is just a little further up in the comments. And I have other favorite polymer clay artists. I'm going to be sharing those. This is looking lovely. I like it. So imagine you make some kind of faux gemstone kind of clay combination, and you could put, you could do a big one like that amethyst cabochon we put in there. You could do use the bigger bezel too. I'm liking this. Something I really don't want to leave behind is a bunch of fingerprints. So I'm just going to smooth it a little bit. And something else I discovered in my searching yesterday, which I think I remember from this. It's been a few years since I've done any of this kind of work. I think the last time I did really was when we were testing our Rivoli frames to see how the polymer clay worked in that. And so I did this kind of little faux gemstone thing. But you can, if your clay is nice and cured, and I'm talking about the better quality clays, because these clays come in different grades. You have your very soft, basic grades that are great for kids to play with because it's a little bit softer. It doesn't cure up quite. I mean, it cures the same, but in my reading yesterday, when I was wondering about how to polish clay till it's nice and shiny, they recommended the better grade clays. So that would be like the Sculpey Primo or the better grade of the Fimo brand. And then what you do to get a nice shine on it is if you make sure it's extremely well baked, maybe even slightly longer than the recommended time, and then you can actually just polish it with a Dremel or by hand, and you can get a nice shiny gloss to it. This one is looking pretty nice. I'm going to stack a second pair of glasses on here just so I can really see. And I think I'm going to go ahead and throw that in the toaster oven. And I'm hoping it's 10:30. This should be done, and we should be able to pull it out and see it before we have to quit. But I'm going to go put this in the toaster oven. And I have about 5 minutes still on the timer for that, the original one we put in with the liquid polymer clay. So when that timer goes off, I'm going to add another let's see. I think 15 minutes will do it for that, for the one I just made, because I don't think it was more than 1/4 inch in thickness. All right. The next thing I want to play with is just making impressions. So I thought I would do, when I was playing around earlier this week, I just used some clay and went out and got some little plant, some leaves and stuff from the yard. And I was interested in making impressions with the with those leaves, and it came out okay. I wasn't absolutely thrilled with it. I think it's something I would need to play with some more. In this one, I thought, okay, I've got the impression. What if I use some alcohol ink to accentuate the design? So I think that's what I'm going to try. This first one was a little bit clumsy, but we'll see if we can get one to come out a little bit nicer. So I had some green clay that I already ran through the roller a couple times to condition it. I do want to kind of wipe my hands off to get any other grime from my previous efforts. So I'm just going to pull off a little bit of this clay and mush it around a little bit, kind of continue to condition it. Robin, definitely. Oh, that's a great suggestion, Beth. Sorry, I'm reading multiple comments at the same time. Yeah, Robin, if you have leftover clay, it will last a long time. I can't say indefinitely because I don't know that for sure, but you do need to seal it up. You need to wrap it in a little plastic bag or something to keep the air from drying it out. Now, this clay, polymer clay like this, is oven bake. It's not going to dry just sitting in the air, but it will get crumbly and hard to work with. So you definitely want to wrap it up. Beth is saying a paintbrush with a little bit of water can help take out the fingerprints. Yes, that sounds like an awesome idea. So I've got a little chunk of my clay. Oh, I remember. No, I'm going to do that with the purple. I got out some glitter because I was interested in playing with some glitter, but I'm not going to do that with the leaf impression. So I did this a couple times the other day, and I think I like it fairly, the green, I like it fairly flat. I don't want it too domed. And again, I want to make sure I get it all the way to the edge, because what I found with this one is that it seemed to shrink back a little bit. So I want to make sure that it's really pushed to the edge. You can see that this can just be very, very fun, you really get into a creative flow and can really have a good time playing with this stuff. I can just imagine that hours would go by. And, people do absolutely amazing work with polymer clay. I mentioned that I've got some artists and links to share. I think I'm going to use the little bit from the redwood tree. I've got some artists and some links and websites to share with you later. And I did briefly mention So I'm just laying I've got a little piece of the, oops, no, I think I want it to be this way, of the redwood tree outside. And I'm just laying it over the top. And I'm going to smash it down, but try not to smash it so hard that that's my timer going off. Let's see if that liquid polymer clay is done. And let's add another 10 minutes for the second one that's in there so I don't forget about it. So I'm just making an imprint of this leaf. And I have seen demos where people have, oh, that one's looking nice, where people have taken sheets of polymer clay and laid leaves and flowers in there and then actually used a roller and rolled them up into the layers of the flat sheet of clay and then peeled it off before they baked it, and it made really nice impressions. Here's our liquid polymer clay. I'll let that sit for a little while before I touch it and see if it's hot or see if it's done. All right, so can you guys see that nice? It made a really nice impression. So I mentioned briefly the alcohol ink. You can use paints and stuff with the polymer clay. Alcohol ink works well. I don't have a whole lot of experience with it, but I saw it recommended on one of the tutorials I watched. And I mentioned in Jasama's tutorial, she was making like a faux turquoise, and she actually cut all of her clay into little pieces, and she coated all the little pieces with black acrylic paint. And looking for my paintbrush. And then she rolled it all together and sliced it. And it was a wonderful effect. I'm sorry, you have to imagine. It was just a wonderful effect of the turquoise blue clay with black veins all over. It was really beautiful. So acrylic paint works too. But I'm just going to use a little bit of alcohol ink to put a little bit of color in the impressions of that. And then both the, whoops, splattering it everywhere. Both the alcohol ink and the acrylic paint holds up in the oven. It does fine. There we go. I had a smaller brush. I knew it was somewhere and I couldn't quite find it. So that's the one I want. Yes, Beth, I'll bet you could. Beth is asking, yeah, Lynn, parchment paper. Beth is asking if you could fill the impression with polymer clay. I am sure you could. Maybe use the liquid clay. Maybe use it as a, almost like a paint. So if you've ever used alcohol ink, I do actually have a little bit of isopropyl alcohol here that I'm using to thin it. So this, I'm winging it. It's certainly something where you could improve your skills the more you do it. But my job here is just to inspire you guys. So it's to, you guys see me do different things with the parts and run out and do it better. Do it better than me. So I'm wondering now if my little marble trivet, now that I'm using it for crafts, does it have to be dedicated only for crafts? Or can I actually put that back into the kitchen and use it for food? I'm wondering. I dipped my brush into the alcohol, and I'm just using that to kind of blend the ink that I put on the piece. I'm kind of using that alcohol ink to blend it, make it a little bit softer. It felt a little harsh. And I'm going to call that good and put it in the toaster oven. I am sure that someone else could do a much better job of that, but it's an idea. All right. So while I was playing with that idea of just making impressions, I have these little, they're stamps and they're letters. So I thought it might be fun to try that in one of the bezels. So I'm just going to take a little bit of clay that I've already run through the roller and kind of conditioned a little bit. And then, because I thought this would be kind of fun, I got out some glitter. And I'm going to put some glitter in there and see how that works. I think I'll actually roll that a little bit if I can find my... roll that and get the glitter blended in. I just thought that might be fun to try. This is glass glitter and it's clear, so there's not any color in this particular jar. But I also have some pink, so let's try mixing some pink in. Now we're just getting crazy. Yeah, Christy Friesen, she's another one of our favorite mixed media artists. She uses polymer clay and epoxy clay, and she knows all the tricks. So if you haven't watched Christy, she's one of the people who's... I got a link ready for her YouTube channel. She just does all kinds of fun, and she does a lot of sculptural work with her clay. So she does all kinds of workshops that where she's making little creatures, and she's just does delightful work. So she's a fun resource that you might want to look at for clay work and materials. You can use mica powders to add color and kind of sparkly texture to your clays. All kinds of fun stuff. And I hope I'm still streaming, because I'm getting a little message that says I'm having trouble with my internet connection. So I hope you guys are still seeing me. If you are, pipe up in the comments and let me know. So I mixed in a little bit of glitter, and I'm just now kind of blending it in. And I'm going to put that in this bezel, I guess. Oh, yay. Someone's piping in and saying they see me, so that's great. I didn't completely go away. And I think I want a little bit more glitter. It really seemed to kind of blend in because there's quite a bit of clay there. I don't think I started with enough, so it just kind of blended in and got buried. This is totally an experiment, so we shall see how it comes out. And this is glass glitter that I'm using. I don't remember if I said that out loud. You know, a lot of other glitters are plastic, so I don't know how they would hold up in a polymer clay and baking it and all that stuff. I don't know. You'd have to look for some examples of that. This is looking cute. It might be a little bit, have more of a dome than I want, so I'm just going to slice some off. Oops. Now I can see that there's air inside my little bubble, so I have to get rid of that. That is something to consider when you're working with the polymer clay, is you want to avoid leaving any air pockets in your whatever you're making. You want to make sure that really work the clay so that there's not little air bubbles in there, especially if you're mixing colors together, because they can show up, I think, after you're baking. You want that to happen. So did that Christie's? Yes, I did put her little link in there. All right, so I've got my little surface. And what I want to try doing is just pressing the stamp into it, because this could be very fun, you know, make little monogrammed pieces. Might take some practice. Oh, I love it. Look at that. So again, you could use some alcohol ink or some paint to fill in the letter so that it shows up a little better. So that worked out well. Happy with that. So into the oven it goes. So what we're getting here is a whole bunch of little bits in the oven that will have different at different times. So I'll just have to test them. I'll leave them in there and test them as we go. All right, so that's fun. Showing how to do some impressions, showing how to do, you know, the little faux gemstone and the small one. But I was inspired yesterday. I want to get all of the little traces of the other clay I was using off of here, because I'm going to start another idea. I was inspired watching that demo yesterday, where she was making the faux gemstone. You know that craft adage, if there's several people sitting at a table crafting and one person is using glitter in their craft, how many people have glitter in their craft? All of them. That's how it works. All right, so I was inspired. I was watching her make, I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to do this. I was watching her make her faux turquoise, and I was inspired to try that just by blending some colors together. Hey, we can test this. This is well cooled off. We can test this liquid Sculpey. It is thoroughly cured, and it looks pretty good. And so now, in theory, you could polish this. You'd want to be careful around the metal, but in theory, you could polish this if you wanted to give it some shine. So that one came out good. Anyway, I was inspired to see if I could do kind of a faux gemstone type of thing. She used a turquoise, I think, the one I watched her do. I'm going to flatten this a little bit, and then I'm going to run it through the roller, and that's going to help it, these three colors blend together. Because what I want is kind of a turquoise color. And I don't have, another thing I can do. I don't have a turquoise shade, so my plan here is to, well, you can see how fun that is just already from just rolling some layers together. I don't have a turquoise color, so I want to use these colors I do have to blend it. And she also used, in the demo I was watching yesterday, she was using some translucent Fimo, but I think I'll mix a little bit of that in later. And for now, I just want to kind of start getting this mixed up and then run it through the roller a few times to try and start blending it. It'll take a little while to get it blended thoroughly. Fun. Look at that. This is so satisfying, you guys. I highly recommend playing with clay. It's not just for kids. Look at this. Ah, I'm loving it. All right, this is getting really nice. So what I also wanted to mix in here, so to make this kind of turquoise, I used the basic green and the basic blue that were in my package of Sculpey samples. Let's see. They have, if you buy like a classic Primo Sculpey Classics, it'll tell you what the colors are here. So I'm using like a cobalt blue and the green and the white, and just blended them together. Whoops, stuff's flying around here. But what I also want to do is add just a tiny little bit of brown in there, and I don't want much. So I'm just going to break off some little specks, because what I'm going for is kind of an African turquoise. So I may even add a little bit of black, but I'm sorry you guys can't see it running through the roller, but I couldn't figure out how I was going to fit that into my work area where you'd be able to see it. Going for like an African turquoise. I may want to add a tiny bit of black in, but I'm a little nervous about that. So I'm just going to roll this through a few times. And, you know, you don't need to have the roller. I could be doing this just with my marble surface and my roller. But it makes it really easy to do the ooh, look at this, guys. Now, is this going to end up looking like African turquoise? I don't know, but so far I'm having a good time with it. So I think what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to start twisting it. I'm going to roll it up and twist it. And she did, I think I was mentioning that she used some translucent Sculpey in one of the demos I watched yesterday, which can add a little bit of it's not really, it doesn't end up clear, but it can end up just, you know, with a little bit of translucence in it. But I think it might be too late for that. Well, I guess it's not, but I'm going to stick with this. I may decide that I need to add some more brown or something to give us some more variation. Yeah, add brown veins, Sherry. That's what I'm thinking. So this is coming out okay. It's very subtle. It could be a little bit more brown, but I'm going to quit while the quitting is good, I think. I don't want to get too crazy and mess it up. So this is definitely, you'll find that the different sides of your clay as you're working with it, there'll be, you might see little patterns on one side that you think, wait, maybe I should flip it over. Maybe I should, you could, I think that's a rabbit hole. The technique that she used yesterday, where she actually chopped her clay into little pieces and then coated it all those tiny pieces. She put it in a plastic little Ziploc bag and squeezed black paint, or she tossed it all with black paint first and then put it all in a Ziploc bag and just mushed it together. And it was just kind of amazing the way the technique got the effect that she wanted. But this is fun. This is quick and easy. I just swirled a few colors together. I was going for a nice turquoise. I got that. I wanted a little bit of brown marbling in there. If I was brave, I would have put a little bit of black in there. And now I'm just molding this into the frame. I don't want it to get over the edges of the frame, so I'm just pushing it in there and getting it as close to the sides as I can without letting it get pushed over onto the outside of the frame. Dent in. Sherry, did you read the introduction to this demo? I am not an expert. She's suggesting dent in some veins, add tiny rolled pieces. I like that idea. Should I try it? All right, I'll try it. Dent in some veins and add tiny rolled pieces. Okay, Sherry, we're trying it. I'm assuming either Sherry's just having great ideas or she's got some good polymer clay experience. I don't know. Okay, what I'm actually going to do is pop it right out of here. And I'm going to put these little rolled pieces. I'm going to kind of sprinkle them on my work surface and wrinkle them up a little bit. And I'm actually going to press those in there and see what happens. It might work if I roll it a little more. Maybe twist it a little bit. And that brown, in a perfect world, that brown is a little bit, there's our timer. That brown is a little bit kind of, what's the word? Not saturated. It's kind of right out. Okay, my color theory teacher would have said it's right out of the paint tube, and she would want you to tone it or tint it or do something with it to give it its own color, sort of. Does that make sense? This is working though. Thank you, Sherry, for that suggestion. There's a lot of possibilities and stuff we could do here, but this is working pretty good. And we're just playing with ideas, so I think a tiny bit of black would have been very nice in there too. And, there's gemstones. Gosh, there's just so much beautiful stuff you could really experiment with different colors of clay and go crazy a little bit. This is fun though. So let's go with this. I can't keep playing with it forever. I'd be leaving you. I mean, we'd be here all day. So we're going to just get this kind of set in there. And so this is quite thick. The way I would finish this one is I would bake it for probably at least a half an hour, because the recommendation is 15 minutes for every 1/4 inch of thickness. So I would bake this for at least a half an hour, and then maybe even a few minutes more. And then this is definitely one that I would polish when it was done to make it all nice and shiny. I'm going to go check the ones that are in the oven. Sherry, she's saying, you're welcome if it works. I'm sorry if it doesn't. There's I don't think there's any mistakes here. There's just experiments. And this is actually looking pretty nice. I have to admit, I love this. I have to admit that I might pull it out and add a couple of veins of white and black too. We'll see. If that happens, I'll definitely post a picture of it for you guys. So here's our little swirled faux gemstone in the small one. And I don't really think that these other two we just put in are quite done, but I'm bringing them out anyway. So that we can finish up. This is fun. I like this this letter impression, and I would definitely probably use some color in there to make that letter pop more. But you know, this is a pretty good just start of showing you guys what you can do with the bezels and the polymer clay. And that was my intention. So hopefully you guys can have fun with this. And I do hope, I'm going to throw a few more links here into the comments. Oh, okay, another clay artist that we adore. You guys may know her, Karen Lewis. She goes by Klew, K-L-E-W. She has a wonderful little store in Tehachapi, California. I've been there. And Karen is one of our customers, so we see her when we go to Tucson. She's a delightful human and an amazing polymer clay artist. So I'm throwing her a link to her YouTube channel. She does a lot of demos on her YouTube channel, so it's fun to watch Klew work. She's got great techniques. She does a lot of caning work. If you don't know what that is, it's just where the different colors are layered together to make the different patterns. So let's see. I already gave you Gisama tutorials. I want to put Tanya's. Okay, now I'm moving on to sort of people who are doing really wonderful stuff with polymer clay. Not necessarily tutorials, but their work is really wonderful. I think Heather Powers, Humble Beads, I think she does offer some workshops on her website. Lisa Pavelka, obviously you guys, if you've ever worked with polymer clay, you probably know Lisa's name. She's pretty well known in the polymer clay world and does just wonderful stuff. And there's a particular artist, I've been watching her reels on Instagram and TikTok, and it's Indigo Sands. And she does really fast demos of just wonderful polymer clay blends and then just makes jewelry out of them. And so she's really fun to watch. Sometimes with the veining, it helps if you run your veined clay through the, let me just pop this comment up here, through the pasta machine. It doesn't show the whole thing. And then run a sheet of solid color face to face and run it through. Good idea, Elise. There's a lot of info out there, you guys. It is so fun to play with polymer clay. I mean, it's a rabbit hole. So check out some of these artists that, let's see, did I get everybody? I had a whole list. Oh, one more. Erin Price Hints. Her company name is Tesori Travati. Sometimes she does a lot of resin and polymer clay work, and so she's got some cool stuff to see too. So it's a rabbit hole. Have fun. I'm so happy I could share it with you. It's messy. It's satisfying. It's you know, the bezels are truly little canvases. So I hope you guys take this, take all this stuff and have some fun with it. And as always, if you make some stuff, please feel free to tag us or post it on our Facebook page or tag us on Instagram, whatever. If you share some stuff, do that because we would like to see it. Now, I am hoping, I've been talking with Karen Lewis. I am hoping that she will do a guest demo for us sometime soon. I sent her some bezels. Emily, I think I did throw Christie's in there earlier, but I'll throw it in again. Let's find it. I'm hoping I can get Karen to do a guest. Where's Christie's? All right, well, here, I'm just going to put Christy Friesen. Look her up on YouTube. I thought I had the link posted, and now I'm not seeing it. But Christy Friesen, she does wonderful stuff. And I'm hoping that Karen will come and do a guest demo. I sent her some bezels, and we'll see what she makes and see if we can schedule her to do a demo for us. So that'll be fun. So I don't know when that will be, but stay tuned for that. And I'm also going to be demoing the bezels with some other techniques here coming up soon. So might be some resin work. I've demoed bezels and UV resin with glass glitter before, so I may end up showing that again. So yeah, stay tuned. Watch for our live stream announcements, and I will see you guys again soon. And have fun, be well, make lots of great stuff, and we'll see you again soon. Bye.